All right, all right, all right. Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. Now, this is part two of my coverage of the Carmelo Anthony motion for new trial. I just went live for like an hour and 20 minutes. And in my live, I went over a lot of information. So, my previous live is part one. This is going to be part two. Okay, so if you guys are just seeing this live and you did not see my first live, then I suggest you go watch that first because I go over all of the background stuff that was happening at the trial. I talk about how Jeff Metcalf was like mad dogging people, what he was doing. And I cleared up a mix up in a threat that he sent. He sent a threat to Dominique Alexander. I reposted it. And I said in my post, message sent to Dominique Alexander from Jeff. But I think because my name is Neek and Dominique sounds similar, like people thought that he sent the message to me. And I kind of cleared that up. I also shared audio from one of Sarah Field's worker bees that works with her, and how he was curating a space talking about this trial. And they were saying how Karmelo should be hung from a tree again, similar language to Jake Lang in the recap. So he did this space where they were talking about things that happened at the trial, and a man who sounds like him, okay, they're saying that it wasn't him, but it was a space that he curated, given a recap. A man who sounds like him, who they are saying is not him, which it might not, it could be or could not be, but it's what is the fact is that's his stream. They are talking about how Karmelo should get the death penalty based on the stuff that came out, and how his punishment, okay, should be swinging from a tree. Now, I go over that audio in my last live. I go over Derek Jackson, the PIO's testimony in the trial. I go over how the Metcalf family violated the gag order, and it was only the black man who was the PIO who got threatened with jail time and lost his job and was fired, where the Metcalf family members were violating the gag order and there was no consequence. So I go over all of those things in part one. I give you guys a lot of background. Now, I was trying to kind of rush through things in part one because I only had an hour to give you guys a live before I had to get off live and go catch a flight. Now, it didn't work out like that, okay? So I got into the meat and potatoes of things. I got into the nitty and gritty of things. I started talking to y'all, and I'm looking at the clock go by. The light towards the end of the stream went out, and then I'm like, oh shit. I look at the time. It's time for me to like literally be packing my stuff up so that I can go catch a flight. Child, I'm like, me getting out of here, packing up my stuff, like, it's just not going to happen. So I extended my flight to California to continue my live stream and give you guys a full, thorough breakdown. I wanted to just, get everything out because in a moment's time, we're going to get the actual finding of whether or not the motion is granted or not granted, okay? We're going to find out by 5 p.m. today whether or not the motion for new trial is granted or not granted. So I'm like, if I get on a plane, I'm going to miss all of that. So I say, you know what? Let me just extend. Okay, I spent some more money. Let me extend my flight and go over everything with you guys. So as you guys come on in, make sure you like the video. Make sure you hit the hype button. I think as it pertains to the hype button, you have to hype it after I'm not live, but hype the video if this is you watching it after I'm no longer live. Like the video, share the video, and I also have a Cash App where y'all could donate to my travel fund. Okay, I done run up so much expenses in just this little time that is crazy. So if y'all can help me out, that'd be greatly appreciated. It's not mandatory, but a little $5 could go a long way, 10, 20, 30. Okay, so anyways, without further ado, let me get on into things. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Let me put my Cash App on the screen. All right, so that is my Cash App, Neek at Night Media. You have to spell it exactly like it is spelled on the screen, Neek at Night. Night is Nite and not GHT. So make sure it is Neek at Night Media if you guys want to support via Cash App. Now, you guys also can support via, if you're watching my stream on Facebook, I think Facebook has something called like sending stars. And then if you want to support my stream on YouTube, you can send a super chat. Okay. So there's several ways to support, and we're going to get on into it. So as I was saying in my last live video, I went to every single hearing this week for this motions that were put in place for Karmelo Anthony. I went to the motion to recuse hearing on August 19th. I went to the motion for a new trial on August 20th and 21st. Now, yesterday, I didn't post any videos because by the time we got to August 21st, which was yesterday, I was tired. Like, I was tired beyond measure. So I went to bed the night before at like midnight. I got up at 3. I had to hurry up and get my stuff together, hightail it to the courthouse at 4 a.m., and then secure my spot in line. When I got to the courthouse yesterday at 4 a.m., I think I was already number 32. Okay. My security that came with me, he went to go park the car and then walk back down. When he parked the car and walked down to the line, he was number 39. Okay, this was at 4 a.m. yesterday. So I was so tired that I didn't have energy to like do my live in the morning. When it was time to go to lunch, my uncle ended up meeting me there and we went to lunch and I didn't have time to do a live. And then after court did not end yesterday until 6:30. So I was there from 4 in the morning to 6:30 p.m. And then I had to drive from the courthouse to where I was staying. By the time I made it in, got some food, tried to relax, set up a live, I was no good. Like, I literally could not pull it off. So I'm so sorry. I could not get you guys a live yesterday. But yes, I was in the main courtroom each day. I was there. I heard all of the arguments. I seen all of the behind the scenes stuff that was going on. I seen all the in court stuff that was going on. I was tired, but I was there. Okay. And in attendance. So this is part 2 of my motion for new trial. In just a couple hours, we're going to hear whether this is granted or not. So in my last live also, I went over the exhibit that Russell Wilson showed of all of the different behavior that Austin Metcalf had. And so somebody said, why security when he parked car come where you're at in line? Because when he wasn't there, so basically what happens is, and I'll just answer this real quick, it's first come, first serve, right? So I didn't think that it was fair that I'm a physical body in line, and when he's going to park the car, there's other physical bodies lining up. And that getting into that 40 is very crucial for people. So if he wasn't physically standing in line, I didn't want to take the slot from somebody else. You know what I mean? So he just resumed in line from when he parked, but he didn't park far. But people when I got out the car and then he parked and walked down, there was tons of people walking and lining up. So I just didn't feel like it was fair to then be like, no, you come here. You know what I mean? He just, it was first come, first serve based on who was there in line. So that's why he didn't come with me, because there was other people who were doing that. Right. And it was causing a lot of confusion. And I just felt like to eliminate all the confusion, just get in line when you physically can be standing in line, But anyways, so that's basically what happened in the morning. So, all right. So let's back up to the first day of the motion for new trial. Like I said, in my last live, I was trying to like rush through things because I had to hurry up and catch a, but oops. I was trying to rush through things because I was trying to hurry up and catch a flight. But now I got a little bit more time. So I'm going to take my time and I'm going to go over everything with y'all. So let me see. All right. So. All right. So it says, all right, so the hearing for August 19th, it says Karmelo lawyers got applause as they were walking in. Once the Metcalf family came in, Austin Metcalf, Jeff Metcalf's father, he was like, you know, looking people up and down. This is stuff that I told y'all yesterday. Let's go past that. The first day, he had like a green jumpsuit. Let me go to the motion for new trial, though. This is my notes for the recusal. All right. So in the morning of the motion for new trial, we lined up in the court. You know, there was stuff going on in the line. And then it was time to enter the courtroom. So when we entered the courtroom, Karmelo Anthony on the first day for the motion for new trial had on a navy blue suit. He walked in, he was shackled. He sat down, he started talking to his attorneys. There was like a little bit of a delay in the proceedings that morning. The judge came up and he said that he was a senior judge out of Kaufman County presiding over the motion for new trial. And he said that there was barred access to the, he was talking about the barred access to the overflow room. And so immediately when he comes in and talks, right, I guess the day before for the motion for new trial, for the recusal, he heard that there was some technical difficulties with the overflow room feed. So for the motion for recusal, the day before, there was audio and video feeds where the audio was going in and out and there was lags. So what he did was hurry up and remedy that situation. He put in a tech person. They resolved the audio and video problems. And when he came in to start the day for the motion for new trial, he put it on the record. So he said, hey, you know, there was some issues with the overflow room. We've like rectified those and remedied those, And then he put it on the record of the issues with the overflow room and how they fixed the issues. And then we resumed with the trial. So, it says they first wanted to start with a proposed order for, it also to remedy what was going on. You said there's no sound. Can y'all hear me? Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Because it be trolls saying that there's no sound sometimes, and it literally be sound. It literally shows that there's sound. I don't know why. Okay, y'all can hear me. All right, thank you. All right, so basically what happened was immediately when we got in there, they were talking about the issues that was for the day before of the overflow room. So to remedy how to fix it, Russell Wilson gave a proposed order on how to remedy the overflow room for the rest of the proceedings. They put everything on the record, and Russell Wilson handed over his suggestions for how to remedy things. They fixed the issues in the overflow room, and so that they could see the same stream that we saw. And then the proceeding for the hearing started. So they started out with like I said, the PIO. They started out with Russell Schaefer. So Russell Schaefer was the PIO for this time around. And so they had Mr. Schaefer ask him about what remedies they had for the overflow room. They brought him in. He testified. And then he said that they set up a Zoom type feed instead. And so instead of however they had it for the day before, they made the PIO come and testify in court on how he's going to fix it and how they're going to make it better for people going forward. So he came in. He said, today we have that in place. They have a Zoom. And Russell Wilson said, so the same way that you came in and you fixed the overflow room, this same technology was available at the time of the Karmelo Anthony trial also, correct? So he was basically saying, like, the same way that they're able to watch this feed now, this same footage and the same video technology was also available during the Karmelo Anthony trial. And they got the PIO to basically testify to that in court. And he wanted to know if there was a live feed during the Karmelo Anthony trial. And like they talked about, the DA budget will, Worski said the DA budget will be under discussion, and then tell them that he went easy on them. So he was the first witness of that morning. And then when Karmelo, also they wanted his cuffs to be removed, both sides wanted to do an opening statement. And when they were going to do the opening statement, Russell Wilson, he had like a delay because his exhibits were not working that he wanted for his PowerPoint. So he starts off and he says, Your Honor, thank you for being here. You traveled here on a short notice. You have a lengthy motion for new trial. I'm going to take you through some of the, sorry, I scribbled. Some of the blank at the time the motion for new trial was written. We didn't have the court's record, and we just didn't get those things. We had a timely file for motion for new trial. The first claim is the right to a public trial. So he went through 1 through 3 of their claims that they want to get granted. So he said claim number 1 was the right to a public trial. All right. Then his second claim was Karmelo Anthony's reliance on the prosecution's gentleman agreement. So if you guys read the motion for new trial, there was this gentleman's deal that they were going to try the case clean. Okay, so trying the case clean, it resulted in them only discussing the behavior that went on under the tent. The under the tent was just only the things that happened that morning. So from Mike Howard and Toby Shook interpretation of this gentleman's agreement, they thought that this agreement included the students of the track meets testimony and Karmelo Anthony's testimony as well. Now, this gentleman's agreement that they made that they were going to try the case clean, they later found out that number 1, it wasn't clear on what the exact terms were because each side had a different interpretation of this deal. And then number 2, it was not enforceable. So because they didn't put this deal on the record, they did not write it out. There was no clear understanding of whose interpretation of it was correct. So when they finally had an issue, when Karmelo Anthony decided that he was going to testify, they went to the judge because they're like, Judge, we thought the deal meant this. And then the prosecution is like, well, no, we thought we made an agreement, but we thought that it meant everybody else's testimony except for his. We didn't explore the idea of Karmelo Anthony testifying. We didn't think that he would testify. Like, we had no idea that he would testify. So when they go to the judge and they say, hey, judge, enforce this rule so that we can put our client on the stand, the judge tells them because the gentleman handshake agreement was not put in the record, he can't enforce it. So not only did they make this agreement, thinking that, everybody would act in good faith, they made an agreement that ultimately, if either party broke the agreement, it was not enforceable by the judge to make one side or the other adhere to it. So Russell Wilson starts off by talking about this gentleman's agreement that they had. And he talks about how there was an off-the-record agreement that was not on the docket. And then he said, also what you will see is that this was a murder trial with no pretrial. So if you guys have been on the internet, right, whenever you have a big case, example, Charlie Kirk case, the guy, Tyler Robinson, is going to trial. But before he actually goes to trial and they litigate things, they go over some of the housekeeping things, some of the evidence that they have, some of the things that they intend to submit or whatever. And they have what's called a pre-trial. In Karmelo Anthony's case, there was no pre-trial motion. There was no pre-trial hearing in the case. So Russell Wilson's like, you have, like, first of all, like, outside of the gentleman's agreement, you have a murder trial with no pretrial. Like, when have you ever heard of a murder trial not having a pretrial? Okay, so he says that then on top of them not having a pretrial, they had what was called a shadow docket. So whenever you guys have like a court date and you send any documents to the court or you file anything, it goes onto a docket. Since we are in 2026, a lot of these dockets, you can see what's filed online, right? So instead of things being filed on the docket like it's supposed to, like it goes to the clerk checks it, they put a stamp on it so that it's stamped when it entered into the docket, when it was submitted, whether it was, viewed or anything by the judge, it goes and put on a docket. Instead of doing a docket in the traditional way, what they decided to do was what Russell Wilson described as a shadow docket. So this shadow docket was, if anytime they wanted to file something, they gave the motion or the filing or whatever it was, they gave it to the judge, and like they print it out, and then they hand the file to the judge, and then he just keeps it in his chambers. Okay, so there's no actual record of it, like record of the transaction, right? So there's no clerk that says, okay, this person handed this paper to me at 2:00 p.m. Monday morning, right? There was no actual accounting of like when these transfers happened. It just was here, like let's fill up this file and let's just leave the file of anything that we have. Let's put it in the judge's chamber and then he'll just keep all the paperwork there, right? So they didn't have a traditional docket. So Russell Wilson says, in addition to this being a trial with no pretrial, he said they also ran a shadow docket. It was not public and it began almost immediately. So it says, then they wanted to talk about the Waller analysis. So it says, basically the Waller analysis is a right to a public trial. So everybody, is their constitutional right that they have a right to a public trial. Now, if for any reason the trial is no longer public, or if there are modifications to the public's access to the trial, there needs to be what's called a Waller analysis, right? So let's say there is a threat, right? And there's a safety issue on why they need to restrict certain things. They have to do a Waller analysis. They have to put whatever finding of fact is causing this restriction on the record. Once they put this finding a fact like, okay, well, because there was this threat, okay, let's put this on the record. This is why we made this restriction, and this is why we did this thing. In Karmelo Anthony's case, there was no Waller analysis or Waller findings put on the record. So they put out this notice that there's going to be all these restrictions, but they didn't put it on the record. Okay. So according to Russell Wilson, that violated Karmelo Anthony's constitutional rights. And that was one of the claims that he was making in this motion for new trial. Also, it said that you have to show there was a closure or a partial closure. The record must show similar to how you started today. And he says where there was an issue with the overflow, and the first thing you did was put it on the record. It has to show there was an overriding interest, and you have to weigh it. Are we doing something reasonable? It's structural error to violate Waller. If we show that a new trial is mandatory, it needs findings to show the Waller was met. There are none. There is no dispute that a closure happened. There was some proposed findings that also were not on the record. It says to justify the closure, we have to have those things. So it says, let's go back to the supposed findings of fact. It says they are submitted well in advance before the trial. One of the things we objected to in this was the amended order for the trial proceedings. It says the amended order had no Waller findings in it either. So there won't be a dispute regarding closure. It must be in the record at the time of closure what happened. And then he said, and what happened today is an example of that. So he was talking about when the judge basically came on the record, said that there was an issue with the overflow, and then Russell Wilson and the judge gave a remedy on how they were going to create a Zoom feed so that they can have a better experience viewing the situation in the overflow. So he said, similar to how it happened today is how it should have happened during the Karmelo Anthony trial. So he said, they say there was threats and security concerns and such. There will be no Waller findings. The judge didn't make any. The shadow docket, the parties are deciding case issues. We will say that's constitutional issues with without the defendant present. So they were discussing things as far as how things were going to go with the trial. And Karmelo Anthony was not present during those things that they were doing. And per his constitutional rights, he was supposed to be there as well. So they were saying, listen, he had all kinds of constitutional rights violations. It says, I never seen a murder trial with as much off the record stuff. The parties, the state, and they struck an agreement during the trial, and the agreement came up where they said that they opened the door. The agreement kept out character info on Austin Metcalf and Hunter and Karmelo for bad acts. The stuff for the Metcalf in the motion in limine, there is an email chain that shows the existence. The defense during it shows Mr. Metcalf was regarding aggressive behavior for other people and racial animosity. Then both parties agreed not to have it. Karmelo Anthony had text messages about a knife. The punishment is dramatically trumping. There is no punishment evidence. You may hear the state say they kept their end of the bargain. The agreement was not in writing, they will say. It was for under the tent. There was a lengthy break. That break was a very intense shouting argument with Mr. Shook and Worski. They are known as the top lawyers. He said, Toby Shook, Bill Worski, and then he said myself, and then he listed somebody else. Like, we are known as the top lawyers in this area. Okay. He said, they are known as the top lawyers. Myself and Mitchell are known as, and I think he said, OU graduates. One thing we will focus on opened the door during opening statements. During jury selection, there was an issue with racial strikes. During the trial testimony, the state asked, do you believe this is self-defense? The general is, how do you know? That type of questions. That was not asked. So basically, when Bill Werski asked each person who provoked, and then they said, Karmelo, was it self-defense? And they said, no, it wasn't self-defense. And then they said, did Karmelo do like murder? When it came time for Mike Howard or Toby Shook to cross or recross, there was no questions of how do you know it wasn't self-defense? Or how do you know he provoked? Like there was no questions to bring it back to self-defense to even know if they knew the definition of self-defense, if they knew the legal conclusion or any of that. They just allowed Bill Werski to say, is it self-defense? No. What did he promote? Yes. And then when it went to Toby Shook and Mike Howard, they just left it like that. Like they didn't probe the kids. They didn't push back on it, nothing. And this is things that I told y'all when I did my reports during the trial. It like they didn't push back on it. So Russell Wilson, he said, you know, you will see that his attorneys, they didn't even push back on that. Like, you know, and then he said, they like those typical common questions that you would ask were not asked of these students. And then he said, by the time we get to the breach, the state already received their benefit. Mr. Anthony decides not to testify. And then he talks about a Torres case. So basically what he's saying is during the trial, opening statements is day one of trial. So on Thursday, June 4th, Karmelo Anthony's attorney did an opening statement. In his opening statement, he said that Karmelo Anthony played chess, like he likes to play chess, right? Days later, 2 trial days later, they never said, oh, well, we think you opened the door in opening statements. Because as soon as they say that you opened the door, then that would mean that this deal of keeping things under the tent is off, right? So from opening statements, they would have, if the prosecution told them the day opening statements happened, hey, we think you opened the door, so all bets are off, then they would have been able to use all of the character evidence of Austin Metcalf to show that he was a stone cold racist and how he often targets Black people. They never knew that the door was open, so they never brought in that evidence, right? But Bill Werski knew that he thought that they opened the door. So they waited up until there was, they waited up all the way up until it was time for Karmelo to testify. So once they said, okay, you know, now we decided we're going to have our client testify, then they said, well, if he testifies, we believe that you guys opened the door because when you went to opening statements, you said that he was a member of the chess club. And so Karmelo's attorneys are like, first of all, we never said that he was a member of the chess club. So then the prosecution was like, yes, you did. You gave character evidence. And if you put him on the stand, then that opens the door to everything and, you know, all of that. So then they are in this shouting match. They are at each other's throats because they're like, first of all, we never said that he was a member of the chess club. We said that he liked to play chess. Bill Werski is telling them that they're lying and saying, yes, you guys said he was in a chess club. And then they're like, no, we all we said was he plays chess. And so they're in this shouting match. And this shouting match took place it started in front of Carmelo Anthony. So at first they asked him like, what was the level? They started out at a 6 out of 10 shouting match in front of Carmelo Anthony, right? And the way that if anybody feels like something opened the door, you're supposed to immediately tell the other side when you think that somebody is close to opening the door or when you think they opened the door. Like, you have to tell them right when it happened. Like, if in opening statements you thought that he opened the door, you were supposed to tell him during opening statements so that he knew on all of those witnesses that it was fair game. They played dirty and they waited. So now it's time for Carmelo to testify. Carmelo's sitting there. We're on this long break from court. Carmelo is looking at these lawyers go at it. They're going head to head. They're arguing so bad that they had to go finish in the judge's chamber. So Mike Howard, they said, listen, it started at about a 6 out of 10 argument. And so they went to the judge's chambers. And when they went to the judge's chambers, now they're at a full 10 out of 10. So they are just going at it, like going off, because they're like, wait a minute, like that wasn't the agreement. Like, now that we already went through all of the witnesses and this is our final witness, you're telling us that we opened the door, like, you know, so they're like at it. So the judge tells them, hey guys, you guys need to take, you know, cool off, take some time, you know, take some time and cool off. So the lawyers try to shake it off. They go and they cool off. They come back. Carmelo Anthony's lawyer explains to Carmelo what happened. Hey, we just got into a full-blown argument. They're saying that we said the chess club and we never said the chess club. And now they're saying that the deal is off and blah, 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 blah. And then when they went to the judge to enforce the agreement, the judge said, well, y'all didn't put it on the record, so I don't have a way to enforce it. So now, you know, it's off. So everything is fair game. So they said, listen, let me go talk to, you know, I guess they tried to rectify it as best they could. And they said, okay, well, let me show you every question that I plan to ask Carmelo. And normally you don't give up your trial questions to the other side. But they said it was so important that they wanted Carmelo to testify. Since they said that Carmelo opened the door, what they wanted to do was, listen, we don't want no smoke. Let me show you every single question that I plan to ask him, giving up their strategy beforehand. And they came up with an agreement like, okay, you can ask him this, you can't ask this, you can ask this, blah, 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 blah. So then in a short amount of time, they have to go and explain this to Carmelo. Okay, Carmelo, they said we can ask you this, this, and this, blah, 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 blah. Carmelo just saw all of this happen, right? And so per Carmelo, he's feeling like, nah, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't trust them. I don't trust it at all. I feel like anything I say, no matter what it is, I think that Bill Werski, it clearly runs this courtroom. And I'm paraphrasing what they said. He said the transcripts will be to show the exact thing. But in paraphrasing it, he said, Bill Werski runs this courtroom. And I feel like it doesn't matter what I say. No matter what I say, he's going to say that I opened the door if I get on the stand and everything will come in. So with that in mind, in 30 minutes, because Mike Howard had to clarify when he did his affidavit for the motion, he said that he only had 10 minutes to talk to his client. He clarified that on the record, it shows that length of time was actually probably 30 minutes. But in his mind, some of that time got shaved down because He had to walk, use the bathroom, come back. They had to do some housekeeping things. So he said in realistic sense, it was only really maybe like 15 minutes, but we'll let you have it. Let's say I took 30 minutes to talk to Karmelo. He said 30 minutes is not enough time to explain a full 45-minute blow up that experienced trial lawyers just had, the consequences of going on the stand, getting him to understand all of those things, being able to kind of like really think and sit with it. He had to immediately make a decision. Okay. It wasn't 10 minutes. He had 30 minutes to make a life-changing decision. And the reason why he decided not to go with this decision was because he did not trust that Bill Werski was going to act in good faith, because number one, they're saying that we said that he's a member of the chess club when we never said that. And they're saying that that's character evidence. And that was something that was supposed to have been disclosed 2 days ahead of time. He said, I don't trust it. I'm not going to testify. Okay. So they went in front of the judge. They said, hey, judge, Karmelo's not going to testify based on, whatever, I forget whatever reason they said. And then the judge, I guess he asked Karmelo, like, are you sure type of questions? Like, are you sure you don't want to? And then they're like, yeah, like, nah, we're good. So Russell Wilson's claim is that this gentleman's agreement was against his constitutional rights, because who would enter into agreement that the judge can't even enforce? They went into this agreement, number one, thinking that if either side violated it, that the judge could enforce it. The judge, when they went to try to get him to enforce it, he said, hey, this something y'all agreed to. This ain't nothing that's on the record. I can't enforce it. So Russell Wilson was like, how can, number one, there's no agreement on the record. And then number two, who would enter into an agreement that cannot be enforced by the judge? So then they said, then Bill Werski admitted, he said, well, I thought they said chess club. And when I read the transcripts, mind you, the transcripts didn't come out till way late, like way after the deadline for the motion for new trial. The transcripts was held in the judge's chamber until after the motion for new trial. So when they made their motion, they just had to go off of affidavits. Normally, whenever you make these type of motions, you have the transcripts so that you can get everything accurate. They didn't have the transcripts. So Mike Howard is like, listen, my bad. I said 10 minutes, but I didn't have the transcripts to know the exact time. It was the heat of the moment. It was very intense. I said 10 minutes. It was 30 minutes. Bill Werski then admits and says, well, Your Honor, yes, I thought that they said the chess club, but when I looked at the transcripts, they did just say that he played chess. So as you guys come on in, make sure to hit the like button. Have you hit the like button yet? If you're watching this video after my stream is no longer live, make sure to hype the video. That means so much. YouTube is always changing how they run things. I need you guys' support in liking the video, hyping the video after the live, and your support as well. Now, it is not y'all problem that I decided to take my black behind out here and pay for a flight, pay for an Airbnb, pay for a rental car. That ain't y'all problem. But if you would like to support me going boots on the ground, me grinding, me, being here and any of those things, just if you want to support my coverage, if you want to support my travel, if you want to support, it means a lot to me if you guys, support with Cash App. It's on the screen right here. It's Neek at Night Media, or by sending in super chats. These type of things take a lot out of you. Like, you got to get up at 4 a.m. No, you got to get up at 3 a.m. You got to make it to the hearing before 4 a.m. to get a seat in the main courtroom. Court did not end until 6 p.m. one day, 6:30 another day. So we're there on court grounds from 4 a.m. in the morning to 6:30. Okay, daily. So I was there every single day to give y'all the scoop, just to put you guys in the mindset of like what it took to pull off, like being there, seeing it, seeing everything, hearing all the arguments. It was a lot. Okay. I don't have a Venmo. I need to get Venmo. People always ask me like, hey, do you have Venmo? I don't have Venmo. I have Cash App, Super Chat. That's it. I'm messing up out here. I need Venmo. I don't have Venmo. So I would appreciate the support so much. It goes a long way. You guys don't even know. All right. So somebody said, is the verdict really in? That's what everyone is saying. I don't know. Let me see. Let's see. It's not is it called a verdict? I don't know. Motion for a new trial, Karmelo. I don't know. I don't see anything. He has until 5 p.m. today. It's 3 p.m. right now. I don't see anything. I don't see nothing. So y'all keep me posted. I don't see nothing yet. All right. So where was I? So anyways, yeah. So your support means a lot. I don't see anything, guys. I don't see anything yet. I don't see anything. It says CBS is outside the courthouse. No, it comes in today. It comes in today at 5, not Monday. So let's see. YouTube, CBS, Karmelo Anthony. Are they live right now? I don't see it. So anyways, all right, I don't see it. You guys keep me updated. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate y'all so much. If you're on Facebook, like I said, they have sending stars or whatever. But no, they do not have till Monday. A lot of people were saying that, but they have till today at 5. We'll find out. All right. So anyways, so that was what happened with the deal, right? So Karmelo Anthony, he heavily relied on testifying, because in a self-defense case, you have to tell your side. If you can't tell your side in a self-defense case, then what happens to Karmelo is what happened. So basically, he decided not to testify. Russell Wilson feels like this breakdown in this gentleman's agreement was against Karmelo's rights, and on that ground, he would like Karmelo to have the motion for new trial granted. All right. So he said by the time that they decided that they opened the door, the state had already had the benefit of this agreement. They already got to put on all their witnesses that said Karmelo was the aggressor. They already got all of the testimony. All of the kids were off the stand. We're at the last day of trial now. And so now you want to say that Karmelo opened the door so you can slaughter him with all this information. They just didn't feel like that was fair. And if they put Karmelo on the stand and they said that he opened the door and they brought in all of the character information, a lot of those students, when they testified, like one person, I remember he testified, he said, oh, tomorrow I'm going off to college. There were several of them that within like a day or so, they were traveling, they were leaving out. Some had flights the same day. So he wasn't able to recall them. So once the door is open now and they put Karmelo on the stand, the prosecution slaughters him with all this character information. It was too late to then try to go back and then recall these students and then bring up all of Austin and Hunter's assaults and thug behavior that they had. So they said, you know what? We're just gonna rest. So they rested the case. Karmelo Anthony got 35 years. He was found guilty and he got 35 years. So then they went on to the third claim. So he went through the different claims that he had for this motion. And so then the third claim that he had was the provocation instruction. He said there was a claim that Mr. Anthony engaged in a provocative act that took away self-defense. We believe that the instruction that the judge gave to the jurors was wrong. So they feel like one of the instructions that the judge gave, that the jury decided on whether he was guilty or provoked or not, Russell Wilson said that that instruction was incorrect that he gave to the jury. So he said on the grounds of their first claim of the right to a public trial, he feels like the motion should be granted. On the gentleman's deal, he feels like on that basis, the right for a new trial should be granted. And on the juror thing that was sent to the jurors, that instruction, he feels like they win on all three. So that was his opening statement. That was before we got into any trial testimony. He went and gave a brief summary on what he plans to show proof of the claims. Like, these are my claims. And then when we go through the hearing, I'm going to show you proof of these things, basically. Okay. So that was his opening. So after his opening statement, then he was able to start his hearing. Okay. So no, wait. Am I on the wrong? Wait, hold on. Is this the right page? Okay, so after that, he did his opening. He said, we believe that we win on all three. So then he said, Judge Roach interview that was the subject of the motion to recuse. He said, what would that have done? So basically, Judge Roach did an interview 2 days after the verdict. He did an interview and they talked about how he regretted that he did not provide at least audio. Okay. He said, well, I kind of regret that I didn't at least provide audio to let more people hear what was happening in the trial. And he said, but then he thought about it and he's like, well, what good is that if people are just going to make it up anyways? So Russell says people flew in from all over with interest in this case. Some for Karmelo and some for the Metcalf, and they were all turned away. We looked through the country and nowhere was there an overflow taken away throughout the trial. So they said, listen, we looked through cases all over the country. We pulled up case after case all over this country. And we did not see a single time that there was an overflow provided for jury selection and then the overflow room taken away for the actual trial proceedings. Okay. He said, we went all over the country and nowhere was there an overflow room taken away during trial. He said, Judge Roach had potential contempt claims and, he called the Anthonys regarding the gag order and that that would be it. there's a written contempt order, etc., for Mr. Jackson, who was the former PIO. He was released for giving the schedule. He was called in by by Worski, who he took him to a meeting, and in that meeting, he was threatened with contempt and told he could be jailed. There is no record of that. Okay, so as I told you guys in video number 1, all right, for those of you guys who are on this live and you didn't see my first video, this is part 2 to my motion for new trial breakdown. In my last video, I told you guys there is this guy who is named Derek Jackson. He was the former PIO of the case. So he was the public information officer. He was in charge of working with the media. He was in charge of figuring out operational stuff, like how the overflow room would work, how the media would get their badges, if they like staged the media in the parking lot and they got their badges in the parking lot, or if they brought them inside, and you know, how the logistical things of the trial would go. Derek testified and he said, hey, I was fair, right? So like if Legacy Media asked a question about the court and like the proceedings, or if they wanted to know any information about how things would go, I would give them the information the same way that I would give the information to the independent journalist. So basically what happened was the Associated Press contacted Derek Jackson, a Black man, and they said, hey, you know, do you have the trial schedule? And he sent the trial schedule for the first 4 days of trial to the Associated Press. They didn't have a problem with that, right? Now, this apparently violates the gag order, but they didn't trip on him violating the gag order by sending it to the Associated Press. All was good. Then there was a guy whose name is Christopher King. He sent Derek Jackson an email. He said, hey, do you have the trial schedule? Derek says, the same information that I sent the Associated Press, I forwarded it to Christopher King. When Christopher King got the information, apparently the prosecution does not like him. You know, they despise him. He is an op, okay? He's an op to them. When he got the information, and I guess in order for them to know he got it, I assume that he must have posted it online, maybe. I don't know. But somehow, some way, Bill Worski found out that Christopher King had the trial schedule for the first 4 days of trial. So he goes and calls Derek. And when he calls Derek, he says, where's your supervisor? You know, he calls him, gets a supervisor on the line. They have Derek go to the judge the next day. When Derek went to the judge cursed him out and let him have it. He said, he let me have it for 6 minutes straight, just going in on me, Derek said. Derek said the judge was going in on me so bad that I started crying. The judge started threatening that he'd throw me in jail. He threatened that, you know, I could serve 6 months in jail. I can get a fine. I'm thinking about, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to get my house situated? You know, how am I going to tell my mom I'm going to jail? All of these things, okay, is going on in my mind. Like the judge is going off on me. Like my job is on the line. You know, what's going to happen? They give Derek the full, you know, experience, okay? The full Negro wake-up call experience. You know what I'm saying? They let Derek have it. Derek says when he left out of the meeting, his supervisor was also in the meeting. They already had this yellow folder ready. So after the judge went off on him, he walked out. So he's like, whew, okay, I didn't go to jail. His supervisor said, here you go. And it was papers that says, you're fired. Kick rocks. Okay, it didn't say kick rocks, but it said you're fired. Okay, and this is your discharge papers. Deuces. Russell Wilson says this big event where the PIO is fired, he looked in the court record, because if there is a event such as this, it is supposed to go on the court record. The only way he knew about it is because he talked to Derek. But legally, it was supposed to be in the record. So Russell Wilson said, there is no written contempt order. There's nothing in the record of this. It's like it didn't happen. It's not there. Where's the record of this? It ain't there. Where's the transcript? Where's the docket? It's not there. So Russell Wilson is like, don't you find that? You know, I need to insert that Dr. Umar meme on my stream where it's like, don't you find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You know, that's what I was thinking when I was listening to this. Like, you don't find that a bit suspicious? Okay. So he said that, they threatened him with contempt and told him that he could be jailed. And there's no record of that. He left the meeting and he was fired. He said, you will hear threats on the Anthony's life. You won't see that in the record. Okay. So I guess whenever there is cases like this, you're supposed to have these things in the record. If the Karmelo Anthony's family, they say, hey, our life is threatened. This is the proof. This is what's happening. Blah, 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 blah. They're supposed to put those things in the record. The threats to the Anthony family, they ain't in the record. The threats to the Metcalf family, they ain't in the record. They want to say that the reason why they came to the conclusion that they did with closing the court and doing all these things is because of all these threats. It ain't in the record. Where is it at? Why we don't see that stuff? Russell said, why we don't see that? Why that ain't there? Why it ain't there? Why I don't see it? So anyways, he said, you will hear threats on the Anthony's life. You won't see that in the record. And he said, nobody was prosecuted for crimes. He said, and there was a doxing of the judge. You won't see that there was no prosecution. Now, Bill Werski, when he came up and he did his part, he said that the person who threatened the judge did go to jail. But everything else, he said, it's under investigation, so he can't talk about it. Okay. So Russell said, listen, they doxed the judge. They threatened the judge. We don't even see that. We don't see no arrest for that. But Bill Werski did clarify again. He did say that there is a man in Idaho who threatened the judge and he went to jail. And when he went to jail, they found CP material on his computer. Okay. If you don't know what CP material is, use your brain. Okay. What is CP on a computer? What could that be? Use your brain. So anyways, he was like, we even got this. He was even the person that got this on his, But anyways, so, y'all saying the verdict is in. Where is it at? Why y'all keep saying that? Oh, the motion was denied. I figured. I figured. Where y'all seeing it at? Hold on. Let me look it up. WFAA. Hold on. I figured. I said, I'm going to call Gerald. I'm like, I don't think that he's going to grant it. I don't think he's going to grant it. I said that. Hold on, wait. Let me see. Where do y'all see that at? WFAA motion for new trial. Let me pull it up. Let's see. All right. So it says, North Texas judge issues ruling on Karmelo Anthony appeal for retrial. Karmelo Anthony's legal team can appeal the ruling by Judge Chitty. It says Karmelo Anthony's appeal for new trial has failed, according to multiple sources. Retired Kaufman County Judge Michael Chitty denied an appeal for new trial on Saturday, August 22nd. Anthony's appellate team cited a number of errors in the trial, including that prosecutors violated a secret agreement made with Anthony's trial defense team to keep certain evidence, including allegations of racism and violence, from being disclosed to jurors. The Collin County District Attorney's Office has said that it acted ethically during the trial. Okay, it says Anthony's legal team can appeal the ruling. All right, so he denied it. He denied it. But we're going to continue, because I'm going to continue letting you guys know everything that happened and why it should have been granted, okay? And this is only the beginning stages, right? Like, we knew that this was a possibility, okay? And, you know, I told people that the way that he was acting, Judge Chitty, the way that he was acting, I was like, I don't think that he's going to grant it, you know, because of how he was acting. Let me see if Gerald made it to, let me see if he made it to home yet, because I told him, I'm not even going to, I'm going to just ask straight up, like, what did I say, what I think was going to happen? Let me call him. Let me see if he answers. Oh, damn. It went to voicemail. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, they just told me. Hello? Oh. Let me see if he answers. Gerald, please answer. I want you to tell these people what I said. I wanted him to tell y'all raw, like what I said I thought. I'm going to call him again. He probably on a plane, though. Like, answer, just real quick. Okay, he's probably busy, whatever. So anyways, I said it yesterday. I felt like they were going to deny it, but don't get too sad, right? Do not get too sad about this. We knew that this was a possibility, guys. And to the supremacists in the chat, let me let you know something, okay? Let me let you know something. We knew that there was a possibility that Judge Chitty would do this. I talked about it in my other things. We're not shocked. We're not moved. We're not broken, because you know what? There is no way that an appeals court listens to all the constitutional things that happen and they don't overturn it. So we are very confident. We knew that an outside judge who's a conservative, that has the history that he does, had a possibility of denying it. We knew that. We're not moved up from that. We knew that. But this was the last attempt before appeals court to get all of the dirty backdoor stuff on the record. And I feel like Russell did an amazing job at doing that. And I am confident, okay? This is me on the record, and we'll revisit this at the time that it happens. Yesterday, I said, the way that he's talking, the way that he's ruling things, I don't think that he's going to grant it. But I am very confident, okay? And screen record it, put it on a sticky note. I am more than confident that when this goes to the appeal court, that it will be overturned, okay? There's no way that an actual appeals court looks at the record, looks at all the violations, and does not grant it. So we're not moved that he denied it. We knew that. We are confident, I'm confident, that when it goes into the appeals court, that it will be overturned. Okay? So it's fine. It's fine. Hold on, let me change out the battery. Let me change out the camera battery. It just died on me. Let me change out the battery. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. The light went out. So, oh, wait. Okay. I'm swapping out the batteries real quick. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me put the other batteries back on the charger. Okay. Let me see if Dominique wants to say anything. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Give me a second, y'all. Where'd he go? I don't know. All right, let me go back to y'all. Sorry. Here I come. My bad. All right. And I am back. All right, back like I never left. All right. So, let me see. All right. So anyways, let's finish telling you guys all of the violations, but we are not moved by this. Do not be sad, guys. Do not be sad. It's okay. It is fine, guys, because all of the stuff that we found out, baby, there's no way that a appeals court will not overturn it. Okay, there's no way. All right. So anyway, so where was I at? So let's pick up where I was. All right. So it says, all right. So they
Builder Surplus has tile at 69 cents and luxury.
The heck? That was so random. All right. So if you're just coming in, make sure to hit the like button as you come in and hit the subscribe button if you want to. Somebody said judges rarely go against their peers. Yeah, somebody said they denied it. Clowns. The only clown is going to be you when it goes to the appeals court and it actually gets overturned. You're going to be the clown. The Metcalfs are going to be the clowns. And Jeff Metcalf, like, by the time that it goes to the appeals court, we're going to hope that no other Black people experience the wrath of Hunter, the thug that's still left on the street. Okay, that's the only clowns is over there. Okay, so hopefully that the thug, his father, who's threatening people, and the thug Hunter, hopefully by the time that this does get overturned, he's not booked for a prison sentence because all of the propensity of violence that he has. But we're not moved by this. Okay, we knew that this was possible. But let's continue. So after Russell Wilson gave his opening statement for the motion for new trial, then Bill Werski gave his, let's see. Oh, hold on. 1 second, y'all. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is the next step, guys. So after they put in a motion for new trial, then it goes to the Fifth Court of Appeals. All right. So the Fifth Court of Appeals, hold on 1 second. All right. Yes, we already covered that, guys. Thank you for letting me know. We already covered the denial. Rewind. Let me show you guys. It goes to the Fifth Court of Appeals. Hold on, let me pull it up. Child, where does Jason Dallas work, child? I be wondering, like, where do some of these people work at? Where do some of these people work at? Like, are these people into law enforcement schools? Like, where do some of these people work? Like, you wonder, child, you wonder. So, anyways, this is what's next for Karmelo Anthony. Thank you so much for the super chat. Somebody said, God bless you, girl. Keep up the great work. Lifting up Karmelo in prayers. May the Lord pour his precious blood over our boy and protect him. Another person sent in a $10 super chat and says, great work, Neek. Boots on the ground. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. 199 super chat. Someone says, thank you. Another person sends in $5 and says, sorry, I don't have Cash App. Mary Beth sends in 1999 super chart with purple hearts. Thank you. California 99 sends 199 super chat. Thank you. Sassy sends in a super chat and says, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Cynthia sends in a super chat and she says, thank you for covering this trial. Free Karmelo. Thank you so much. Another person says, they denied it, sis. I appreciate you for keeping us updated. Another person sends in a $10 super chat and says, Neek, please look at this again. It's saying that his decision will actually be on Monday, the 24th. No, he has ruled. Yesterday, I was in court and he had until today. It wasn't till Monday. People were reporting that it was till Monday, but he had until today. So that's the actual ruling. It actually came in. All right. So this is where his case goes next. So as you can see right here, it says the case will now go to the Fifth Court of Appeals. And it says the Court of Appeals for the Fifth District of Texas at Dallas was formally opened on September 4th, 1893. There was a Chief Justice and two Associate Justices until 1978, when 3 additional justices were authorized. So this is where it goes. And let me look up something really quickly for y'all. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. This is breaking. Let's see. 1 second, y'all. All right, I'm going to show you guys the differences because this isn't the Federal Court of Appeals. This is the Fifth Court of Appeals where it goes next. So let me bring up, I just I just Googled the difference so that you guys can see what is up next. Okay. Who needs to be blocked? Hold on. We will do it. Hold on. Y'all saying folks need to be blocked. How do you get moderators on Facebook? I'm streaming on Facebook right now also. How do we get moderators on Facebook? Hold on. Y'all telling me somebody need to be blocked? Hold on. Who? Name them. Who is it? Did I block him? Was that him? Hopefully I blocked him, y'all. Okay, hopefully I blocked him. Hopefully I blocked him. All right, so let me show y'all. He's going to the Fifth Court of Appeals. Let me show y'all. I just asked AI real quick the difference. All right, so what is the difference between a regular Federal Court of Appeals and the Fifth Court of Appeals? So it said the core difference between the Fifth Court of Appeals of Texas and the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit comes down to jurisdiction. One is a Texas state court handling local matters, while the other is federal court handling. So jurisdiction and scope. All right. And then so the second thing is the types of law applied. Hold on. Let me pull that up. All right, so this is what that says. Hold on one second. All right, are you guys looking at that? Okay, so okay, so right here, this is what's going to happen next, guys. Let me show you. All right, so here is the benefit of the next stage. So Russell Wilson was really, really good at preserving the record and showing all of these constitutional violations for Carmelo Anthony. So, number one, it says the Texas Fifth Court of Appeals will formally review the record to determine if procedural or legal errors occurred during the trial that unfairly prejudiced the jury against him. The issues was his defense can formally present arguments regarding contested issues, such as the alleged violation of the gentleman's agreement, regarding evidence complaints about how the trial judge handled closed-door conferences or claims regarding constraints placed on his testimony. Number two, they will have the opportunity to overturn or modify the conviction. If the state appellate court finds that a significant reversal error occurred, it has the power to reverse the conviction, order a completely new trial, or modify the judgment. The alternative, without a direct appeal through the state system, a state conviction and 35-year sentence would become permanent with no higher court review. It says, exhausting state remedies, the gateway to federal court later. So it goes to the Fifth Circuit and then it can go to federal later. So it says, while his case cannot go to the federal Fifth Circuit right now, pursuing his case through the Texas State Appellate Court and potentially up to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals is a strict legal requirement. So because this has a strict legal requirement, it says under federal law, a defendant convicted in the state court must exhaust all state remedies before they can ever take the case into a federal court system via federal habeas corpus petition. If federal constitutional violations occurred, such as the 14th Amendment due process violations, his attorneys must first flesh out those and lose at the highest state level before a federal court, and eventually the U.S. Fifth Court Circuit, and they can even go to the Supreme Court. So the Fifth Court of Appeals is the natural next step. Now, again, the way that the judge was acting, I wasn't confident that he was going to grant it, but I'm more than confident that when it goes to the appeals process, that it will be granted. So there's no way that the actual appeals court, who their job is to determine procedural error, their job is to determine constitutional violations, there's no doubt in my mind that it will be overturned, modified, or reversed completely. Okay, so I believe that that's what's going to happen next. You can quote me on that, period. We're not upset. We're just going to continue to document all of the corruption surrounding this case. Okay, this was clear corruption through and through, in my opinion. Bill Werski is a corrupt sleazeball, in my opinion. Okay, I'm not saying that for a fact, even though he has allegations of doing stuff with women, and there was court records and stuff about that. Not saying that he is corrupt, but he looks to be corrupt, in my opinion. Based on how he operated everything in this trial. Also, sorry, let me fix the other light. Also, Bill Werski is a freaking bully. Like, you can tell all he does is bully people, okay? Like, the way that he was operating at that courthouse, you could tell that he's just used to bullying people and throwing his weight around. The way that he was handling the people who were testifying, I said, this ain't nothing more than a sleazy sleazeball that probably you ain't no telling how many black men were railroaded under him and Toby Crook. Okay, now Toby Shook used to be a prosecutor, and he was one of the ones to be Karmelo's co-counsel, but Toby Shook, who was Karmelo Anthony's co-counsel, and Bill Werski, they used to be partners and they're best friends. Okay, they're the bestest of friends that you can ever have. It is my opinion that from how Karmelo Anthony was railroaded, again, I'm not saying this for a fact, but I believe that if you look into their judicial record of other cases, I'm sure you will see corruption. Corruption is riddled all throughout this case. It's sad and unfortunate. And I am very confident that when this goes to the appeals court, that it will be overturned, like reversed or greatly modified. That is my belief. So anyways, I started out by telling you guys that the motion for new trial all the way up until we got to Bill Werski's opening statement. So I went over how Russell did his opening statements, and then I went over, now it's time to go over the opening statements for Bill Werski. So let's continue the coverage in this. If you guys want me to pause for any reason, y'all want to vent about this, let me know. But we're going to continue putting more of the corruption on the record. Like, I'm going to continue to let you guys know all of the corrupt things that happened to Karmelo Anthony, all of the backdoor shady stuff, how a black man was threatened with jail and contempt. Oh, here's Gerald calling. Hello? Oh, I'm on live right now. I'm putting you on speaker. So yesterday, when we were at court, when you asked me what did I think was going to happen with the motion for denial, what did I say?
That it was going to be denied.
And
because the judge was already like showing how he was going to rule. That was another thing you said. So I mean,
and I wrote a note on your notepad, and I said,
yeah.
What I say?
He's showing us how he gonna rule. He's showing us how he's gonna rule.
Yep. So I just wanted to tell them live. So it just came in that the judge denied it. He did. Yeah. So I was like, oof, let me call Gerald so that they could see that I said it yesterday, that this is what I thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Karmelo still goes to regular appeal. So, I mean, these were just options that he had at the lower court, level, but it's, so it still goes to appeal. And I feel like, Attorney Russell Wilson did his thing. He really made a very clear record that this case was rigged and it was unconstitutional, in my opinion. So, yeah.
All right.
But, all right, sis.
All right. I just wanted to capture that live because it's so sad. Like, he was showing us yesterday, like the way that he would rule, the way that he would ask questions. I was like, he gonna deny it.
And then another thing that I noticed too is like when Bill Werski was like testifying, he would look at the judge and smirk, laugh, like,
and the judge would be like nodding his head, like,
yes, he would. Yep, and he would smirk as well. Yep, and he was like more against the defense than he. I mean, I felt like they made good arguments about the leading, about the testifying. I mean, I think their relationship from that last case that they did with the DAs and stuff, I feel like this friendship stuff is too much. It's a lot of backdoor stuff, if you ask me, based off the stuff that they were testifying, the stuff that they were saying, and the things we were learning about, what judge was presiding. He said that Judge Shitty was presiding over a case. It's just too much relationship, everybody just know everybody too much for me. Yeah, so, yeah. But I'm praying for Karmelo. I hope that his appeal goes good because at that level, judges actually construe the law as it is written and not as, interpreted, to believe what they think it might mean. No, they're going to construe it, to how it was written and apply it. So that's the good thing. Yeah.
Yep. Well, all right. Thank you so much. All right.
Have a good life.
All right. Later. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. So yeah, but I felt like it was going to get denied. Now, yesterday, too, when we were in the courtroom, I was sitting there was this lawyer that was in there also, and he sat next to me and we were talking and stuff. And I was like, telling him, I was like, well, I don't know. I don't, I'm not getting a good feeling from this judge, like, I'm just like, not. And then he was saying that it's a low bar for the motion for new trial, but there's a higher chance in the appeals case. And I believe that he said, so this is why Russell Wilson is so meticulous on getting everything in the order, because he can perfect all of the things that Mike Howard failed to do and failed to put on the record. This was Russell's attempt to put everything on the record. So then now when it goes to the appeals court, that everything is on the record, everything is documented, all of the constitutional, all of the corrupt, all of the backdoor stuff is on the record properly, and that the appeals court will be able to make an accurate decision. So again, I'm not moved by all of the people in the chat. This is no shocker to me, at least. Okay, that's why I wanted y'all to hear from Gerald. Like, from yesterday, we already kind of felt like this could be possible, you know? So we're not shocked, but let me see y'all laughing and pussy popping when it gets to that appeals court, and when Russell Wilson start holding the proper people accountable for their corruption, because he came to clean house, baby. Oh, baby, Russell, he done came to clean house. Okay, so that's okay. He gonna make a full sweep later. Be patient. Screenshot they comments too, because we gonna screenshot and we gonna be talking later, and we gonna see in the end. Okay, period. So let's continue to go through the record. And Hunter, who's still on the street, he's a thug. Okay, he done choked out his mama. He done beat up all these women. He done got all of this graffiti talking about killing black people and jumping people. Y'all laughing now, but let's hope that that thug can stay out of jail, because while you guys are making all of these laughing emojis about Karmelo, you better hope that that thug calf don't be in his prison blues, because the propensity of violence that he has, he's headed there soon. Okay, so if Miss Megan and Jeff don't get a handle on that little delinquent and that little menace to society that's still breathing, he gonna be in his prison blues too. Okay, very soon, because he's a thug, and thugs don't change overnight. He's been a thug since he was a kid. He's been abusing and assaulting black people since he was a kid. He's been arrested since a juvenile. He is the definition of ... Okay, I'm not even gonna say what, but he's the literal definition of what y'all try to describe Karmelo as. And those behaviors don't go away overnight. So while you guys are laughing and celebrating, let's hope that thug calf that's still on the street don't be in his prison blues, because he's a menace to society, and so is his damn daddy. And the apple didn't fall far from the tree. And Austin Metcalf fucked around, and he found out that the same way that he be bullying everybody else, that he wasn't going to be able to do it that day with Karmelo. Okay, so now with that being said, let's get back to the live video. Okay, let's get back to the live video. Do y'all still hear me clearly? Hopefully y'all still hear me and everything. Because baby, celebrate. That's fine. Okay, celebrate. It ain't gonna be long. It is not gonna be long. Hunter thug calf, child, that thug, he hate black people so bad, baby. Child. Anyways, you better hope that he don't be next in his prison blues. Okay? In prison. Okay? Because people with that level of hate, that much violence, you know? Child. Somebody said, I love how they say they don't like you, but they still watching your live. Let them watch. Let them watch. They think that, also too, while they celebrate, they better hope that Sippy Cup don't be in his prison blues too. Because he's also sound like he on his way to have on his little prison jumpsuit with all the little threats that he be making. So we're not worried. Okay, we're not worried. Um, and RIP to Austin Metcalf. RIP to him. Condolences to his mother for that situation. But anyways, so they hate us so bad. It's so funny. Somebody said the trolls, you're laughing and celebrating the Metcalf still. Right. Child. Ooh, child. Ooh, somebody said rest in. Y'all crazy. All right, so what's next? Do y'all want me to continue to go through everything, or do y'all want me to go through Austin's thug behavior? Because we could take a break and go through Austin's thuggery and all of his assaults. We could continue to go through the motion, or we can go through Austin's thug behavior, his rap sheet. Okay, let me know which way are we going. Which way are we going? We talked about his rap sheet in the last live, so let's just continue with this motion. Okay, let's continue. Somebody said Austin's thug behavior. Open up the phone lines, take a break. Okay, all right. Let me see. I think I don't know if the audio, if I'll be able to hear y'all, but let me post it up. Let's take a break. Let's take some calls. I'm only gonna pull up, because there's so many trolls, I'm only gonna pull up the people that is on camera. That's the rule. Okay, you have to be on camera. Even if you are a thug calf supporter. Okay, come up. Like, y'all like come. Like, it don't matter to me, baby. Come up. That's the link. You gotta be on camera though. I'm not pulling nobody up that's not on camera. You have to be on camera. Monique, I can't see your face. I can't see you. I gotta be able to see your face. Can you hear me, Monique? Okay. All right. Hey, what's your thoughts?
Hey, so I feel like, first of all, how you doing?
I'm doing
Um,
good. I'm doing great, actually.
Good. Thank you for having me up. I just want to say that I've been keeping an eye on it, and once I saw that he was gonna email it or upload his decision, I was like, that's not a good sign, because I feel like if he was gonna grant it, he would have did it yesterday in court. So I kind of had a bad feeling about it, but lo and behold, it was declined or denied or whatever, and I was already prepared. But I just want to say that you know them people can celebrate. That is perfectly fine. I feel like I don't understand why they're still so invested, because
Monique, I'll bring you back on when your thing. I don't know if your phone went out, but let's bring up
That's
Jaquan.
right. You said it right, Joaquin.
Oh, Joaquin, sorry. What's your thoughts?
My thought on the I was in the overflow room, and I heard some stuff that was going on in there, and I was like, dude seemed like he was gonna be pretty fair, but he shocked me, man. He shocked me because I thought he was gonna deal everything on facts, and it seemed like he went more to the emotional side instead of the factual side, and that ain't right.
Okay, so you viewed the hearing in the overflow room. Tell people, because I didn't think that he was gonna be fair. I was like, I don't know, because I'm looking at him, I'm listening, I'm like, I don't feel it. But tell from your POV.
Yeah, from my point of view, when I thought that Russell was trying to be more playing chess. I thought he was trying to test the judge by just objecting to stuff that I knew that he was going to overturn. I mean, overrule. I thought Russell was just doing so he can get all that stuff on the list so he can catch him slipping. But man, I know when I was in the overflow room, we was watching everything on the big screen, and the camera started doing like this, right? Every time they're doing this, you see Judge Roach up in the corner watching the film with us and everything. And everybody in the overflow room like, hey, why Judge Roach looking at everything? So every time it
Oh, so
happened three
Judge
times.
Roach was watching the thing as
Yes.
it went on.
Yes, he was sitting in another courtroom or something, and he was watching the whole thing. And every time he popped up on the screen, the little police officer she'll run over there to the screen real quick and hit full screen, and then close this little window out so we won't see him no more. But he watched that whole trial. He was sitting back there in that room watching. That's why these folks crooked, man. They crooked. I hate to say it. They crooked.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do
Yep.
good in
So
the appeals court. I am not even tripping. We're gonna do good in the appeals.
yeah,
Too
I'm.
much evidence.
Like even yesterday when I was like, I think he gonna deny it or whatever. I am confident that it's gonna get overturned in appeals. Like confident.
Russell,
I
that
wasn't.
dude, y'all.
Yeah, tell him about Russell's lawyering. Like I think that's a bad mother.
Yes, he is. He that dude. Look, I'm finna go to law school myself, but Russ, that dude, man. I'm serious. He was on it, and he's so strategic, and he's straight to the point. He emotionless, except when he know they on some BS. You'll see a little and yeah. So really, but that man is smooth, man. If anything ever happened to me, I'm calling Russell. I'm calling the not guilty boys, Thelma Anderson, and King Cass. It's going down.
He said, I got my team assembled. I
I'm
know
telling
that's
you.
right. Because yeah, Russell, like I said, he was doing some fire lawyering. Like
Yes.
I have not, like he was like top tier, like, and the whole time while Russell Wilson was doing lawyering, Bill Worski was saying like little childish slick comments.
He's
And the
so
reason why
arrogant.
I knew this judge was going to be on BS is because every single time he would just under his breath or under, like, just out of the blue say little slick shit. The judge never said anything. But then
Mm-mm.
when their attorney clapped back, oh, then it's no, you guys need to stop like why you never stop Bill Worski every childish little thing that he kept saying. The whole time he was saying nothing but little childish, little slick shit, like the whole
And he
time.
was giggling and laughing when he was doing his testimony, sitting up there laughing, shaking his head. Yeah. Listen, but you know what? He played on the judge's heart too, though, because the judge had been part of that situation allegedly where he what they call it, he put him gave him a retrial, and he went back and unalived them people and stuff. And he was in there talking about that. That was Bill Wordsworth talking about when he first got they had a recess and they brought everybody back in around by 11:15. And when he came back in at 11:15 and Bill got up there, and Russell was trying to when he had said I object, and he don't want him to play two roles and stuff like that. He just wanted him to either do this or you do this, and the judge overruled it. That's when Bill Worsley got he laughing and sniggering and started shaking his head. But
No,
when they
what he
was
said
giving,
was, I'm gonna pause you. So what he's talking about, you guys, and for the people that's not there, you got to kind of paint the picture for them, the people who wasn't there. So basically what happened was after Russell Wilson rested his case, then it was time for the state to put on their case, right?
Right.
So just like Russell Wilson was able to call lawyers and call witnesses, the state was able to call their first witness. So when it was time for them to tender who they wanted their first witness to be, they said, "Hey, Bill Werski," he switches off and he says, "All right, now let me hand over this to Mitchell." And then he just arrogant, like super arrogant. He gets up, he takes his water bottle, he walks to the witness stand, he puts his witness down like it's his time to, testify.
Mhm.
He goes and walks to the witness booth because they were going to call him as the first witness. So he's cocky, he's arrogant. He's full of theater. He's full of corruption and theater, right? So he does this whole dog and pony show, and he throws his water bottle on the witness stand or whatever. And then as he's doing this, Russell is like, "Hold on, wait. Objection, Your Honor," because he was just the advocate for the state. He can't be the advocate for the state and a witness
And a
at
witness.
the same time. Like he got to choose either or. So Russell says here, he got his paper and he says, "Here, Judge, this is my motion for objecting to him being a witness because you got to pick. You either have one of your other team do the advocating and then you be a witness, or you be the advocate and you put on somebody else on your team. You can't have it both ways." So then Bill Werski goes, and again, he is full of theater. So he goes to the witness stand, he grabs his water bottle, he walks back up to the table, and then he looks at the judge and he says, "Judge, you know me, Judge. You can trust that you would want to hear from me, Judge. I know you want to hear what I got to say." And blah, 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 blah. And he made his argument on why he should be the witness. And then he was like, "Yeah, we know, like you, I trust you, Judge." He said something about the judge trusting him, or the judge, some bullshit he said about trust. He was like, "You trust me, Judge, da, da, da." And then Russell gave his arguments on why he felt like it wasn't right for him to testify. And then the judge looked and he was like, "Overruled." And then he marched over and put his water down and got in the witness box. And then he started to then you should have seen him switch from this super cocky role
to this.
He was like this he went, and then he was like, "Okay." And then when he started testifying, then he was like, "Okay, so," and then so he would ask him a question, and then he was like, "Yes." And then, there was all of these death threats, and I covered the something 6 where they
the 7.
The 7,
Texas 7.
The Texas 7 where they escaped from prison, and it was just like a switch, and I was like, "Is that a personality change?" Like it was so crazy. Like you should have. That was crazy. I was like. It was like as soon as he sat down, his personality just flipped. And I was like, "You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?" So yeah, so that's what he was talking about right there. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add? We have people backstage.
Yeah, last thing I want to say is how you don't grant this young man a new trial when the prosecutor sat his butt on the stage and said that the kids just seen what they seen, they saw what they saw, and they just pieced their stories together. They pieced their stories together. Right. So you just basically telling me they made their stories up to fit whatever you told them, basically. And y'all done convicted this young man, gave him 35 years. You just sat up here and told the judge and everybody in here watching that they just pieced their stories together.
Right.
I'm scared. I stay in this county. That's what I'm saying. I'm scared.
Yeah, it's very alarming. Very alarming.
I gotta protect this one.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you.
All right. Neat.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, so we have several people backstage. Monique, she got cut off. I just want you to finalize what you got to say, and then we're gonna go to the next person. I'm only pulling up people on camera. So you were saying,
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, I was just saying that I kind of already had a feeling because number one, when Judge Roach got recused, I was like, I saw a lot of people happy about that, but I just couldn't bring myself to be happy because I felt like it was a pump fake, and obviously it was. It was performative. That judge did not rule on that yesterday. He already had his mind up, I'm sure. He did it today. I feel like that was cowardly, but he probably did it because he didn't want black folks at the courthouse to be mad. But it is what it is. I feel like now it's has to go to the appeals court, and now I am glad that now the Metcalf twins, their raging racist, vile, and misogynistic behavior is now on display because at first it was speculation. I mean, you can kind of look at them and you could tell they like trailer trash, rednecks, but we didn't have any confirmation. Now we do, and I'm glad because I saw a lot of people, including black people, sitting there having empathy for uh these twins, even after their daddy came out and stereotyped black people and called Carmelo a watermelon felon. I seen a lot of people still holding empathy for them, and I just couldn't understand it. But now we see that they say things like, I don't know if you can say it on here, but HH, KKK, kill all blacks, and
Mhm.
they beat up. I was reading the paperwork. They beat up some girl named Ashley Jenkins. I never met a white Jenkins. I think that's a black girl.
It was a black
So
girl.
I can tell by the name. So these boys beat up black girls. And the day that they met Carmela,
They assaulted several black people, but go ahead.
yeah, so I only read about that one. I haven't watched everything or read everything, but I saw that. I'm like, so they assaulted a black girl, and I felt like they felt comfortable with bullying black people. And that day that they ran into Carmelo, they thought it was sweet, and he had to show them. And I I don't think Carmelo's fully innocent. I'm gonna be honest, but I can't be mad at a person like that dying. I can't. I'm sorry. So I do wish Carmelo the best. I wish when it comes to the appeal, it works out in his favor. But I'm just glad that we have confirmation now that those twins are not who the media has been trying to portray them to be. Because this whole time they tried to portray them as Christian, good boys, would never would have, was trying to
They
do
would
the right
never
thing.
approach him just because of his race, or
Exactly.
no, they assaulted several people because of their race. They're freaking despicable. They're vile
They
humans. Megan Metcalf and Jeff Metcalf raised some demented kids. Okay, and they're adults now. Well, Hunter is an adult now. They
hmm
raised some demented individuals. Okay, they
absolutely. And
are
I'm
truly demented.
exactly. And I'm glad that everyone gets to see it because this whole time the media, even it's this one news station that always pops up on my feed. They are so biased. Like I had to mute them because I'm like, y'all reporting on everything that Carmela got going on. I want to see what came out about the Metcalfs. I was finally able to find it from like your videos and other people, but just to hear that they were arrested back in elementary, like I've never seen a child at 10 years old be arrested. But for what? I mean, kids at that age, they still innocent for the most part, but not the Metcalfs, you
Not
know?
at
So
all. A little
so
thug
it
training.
absolutely. So I say, you know what? Like Carmelo's still in prison for now, but at least we get to know their history. And yeah, people get to see that, Carmelo wasn't just having a bad day and decided to poke somebody. No, they approached him and they um you know they
F
effed around and
around and
found out, like
found
you said.
found out.
So
Basically.
yeah, I'm not surprised by the ruling today, but like it's still more work to do. I hope the dream team is working. If they I hope they set up donations so people can donate, so because I heard they're doing the pro bono. I hope that they just keep working for that young man, because I truly feel like he was overcharged. And the Metcalf boys, if they can keep assaulting people, assaulting their mama, assaulting their daddy, assaulting black kids, being verbally abusive to teachers, and they still, weren't held accountable, then I don't see why Carmelo's going to be sitting in jail for 35 years. So I pray that that's taken care of. But thank you for letting me up. I just want to get that out.
All right, thank you. The link is in the chat if y'all want to come up. Now we are about to bring Dennis. Now, Dennis, you still on my shit list, but I'm gonna let you speak. Go ahead.
Hey, let's gonna be nice. So listen, I knew from the minute the judge ruled on the recusal that there was a problem, because the attorneys representing the Dream Team, representing Karmelo, pointed out the canon violations that the judge should have took note of. And that didn't happen. I said, okay, if the judge didn't take note of that and made it very clear that he wasn't recusing Judge Roach because of things that he was done wrong, there was a problem. Secondly, this was a long stretch anyway. That what the lawyers did was perfected the record. They got things out into the record what they didn't have beforehand. So it was it was a chess move, and the prosecutor played right into it. So the lawyers knew what they were doing. They said they wouldn't have forgot. Because look, think about this: if Roach wasn't recused, then it wouldn't have been a motion for a new trial, and you wouldn't have heard this information. Roach would have automatically said, "No, we're not. It's not going to be a new trial." But once the judge granted it, the lawyers were able to extract the things that we didn't know. We also saw what was in the mindset of Judge Roach and how he fired Derek Jackson. Something that he didn't even make a record of that. That should have been a record made of him firing Derek Jackson. So you berate the guy. They basically lined him up. It was never intention to put him in jail. They lined him up, wait till he got into it. So they want him not to say anything. So they put the fear of jail in him. This is how they play. They played Derek Jackson. That's why he was a little scared to say anything. The fix was already in. So when people are celebrating this new trial wasn't going to be granted, well, if you look at the judge's background, it was a long shot. This guy is a staunch Republican, and when the prosecutor kept saying, "This is how we do it. This is how we do it," I'm like, "What are you talking about? There's procedures. So this is how we do it in Texas." So and then I just learned just now on your show that the judge was on the monitor. Was the judge that was presiding over this hearing watching the judge on the monitor, the other judge? Because I don't
normally whenever they have a Zoom feed, the judge is they know what's on the Zoom feed, and they know what's going on in their court. Normally,
absolutely.
Yes,
this is the first time I knew the judge was on the monitor. I said, well, they should call him as a witness, because they had an opportunity to call the judge as a witness. So
yeah, people were saying that leaving out of the overflow room, he's not the first. That's not the first time I heard of it. But other people at the courthouse said it too. But I wanted him to clarify in his own words from his view of what he specifically saw, because I didn't see it. But yeah.
Well, so and then the other thing that people don't know is this 5th District of Appeals is more left leaning, and it's an election coming up. So people got to get out and vote. They have to vote for the next judge to come in. So this right here, Collins County, I said the judge was going to deny it, especially when he didn't want to render a decision on the bench. He wanted to send it out. Well, we know that as a majority of people in that courtroom was people of color. So, so who was he protecting? So it was just. I don't think people should be celebrating on the other side that the judge denied it, because it was the point of the matter is Attorney Russell Wilson was able to get information in that we wouldn't have heard. A lot of stuff I was surprised on the stuff I heard. I'm like, wait a minute. And I also, what he also did was when he put the second chair attorney on the stand, Toby Shook, he was able to extract information from both the attorneys. In my opinion, those attorneys were ineffective counsel, and that should be another issue that they bring up during the appeal, because he was able to get everyone on the record, something that he wouldn't have been able to do if they have a motion for a new trial. Things that Mike Howard said, the things that Toby Shook said, yeah, this were bad decisions. So he lined them up for a motion for a new for ineffective assistance of counsel. You guys allowed this guy to stand over your shoulder while you go over testimony? Who does that? Who has a gentleman?
Tell him every single question that you plan to ask your star witness.
Yeah, what's this gentleman agreement when you're in a murder trial? We didn't see this in the YSL. We didn't see Brian Still trying to have a gentleman's agreement with Adrian Love. As a matter of fact, he said, "I don't trust her." So how do you go in a murder trial and trust your opposition? It's nothing. At that point, it's gladiator school. And the best one comes out. And I'll tell you something, that prosecutor is a fox. He's a slippery fox, but people were able to see that. It was a lot of stuff that was happening in that courtroom that you even knew that this case was going to be decided this way. You knew this.
I knew it. I wrote a note on Gerald's notepad, and I said, he's showing us how he's going to rule. It's going to get he's going to deny it. And
you felt the energy. You saw, I felt it. And it was times where Wilson was asking for this things to be overruled or sustained, and Judge said, no, let it go. He just let it go. Why are you letting things that so obvious go? Because it's my belief the fix was in, but it's still not a problem because you got the 5th district. This was a long stretch, but they got something. One thing he could go back to his client and say, we got information out that we wouldn't have gotten if we didn't get to this point. So now when they draft up the appeal, they have a lot more to put in there. Before, the judge didn't want anything released. Yeah.
And when, because I don't believe that a thug, the Hunter thug calf, because a lot of the stuff that they got in was from, because of this trial, they were able to get proprietary sealed juvenile records. So Absolutely. Now, whenever the thug Hunter does more propensity of violence, because it doesn't, you don't just wake up overnight. We heard verdict day, he was standing on business about being in the courtroom. They didn't want him in the courtroom. And his mom was like, well, Hunter, he was letting them know that he wasn't going to miss it. And, he went off and they allowed him in the courtroom when he wasn't supposed to be in there.
Hunter didn't testify because of this. I mean, but
I'm saying my point is Hunter's record is now on the record. And when he does more thug behavior, the arresting officers will have this transcript of court to give him the heftiest of sentence. Because I believe that he'll be in his prison blues also. But go ahead, continue what you're going to say.
No, I agree with you. His record is something now that's public. And you can thank the prosecutor. Did we lose her? Am I here?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, so the prosecutor put all his business out there, stuff that we didn't even know, especially the propensity to attack people of color. I mean, this is things that we suspected that they had an issue. We knew that they were, from the reporting, that they were bullies, but we knew this already. And there was something else that came out that I said, well, it had to have been the prosecution, because who was leaking a photo of Karmelo Anthony that was in his phone? It would only have to be the person who had the phone, which was the prosecutors. And I don't think the defense would have leaked any of those photos. So they were already playing dirty from the start. I think it was the imperfect storm.
Yeah, they were dirty from the start. It was leaks all over this thing. The Metcalf family members were violating the gag order. They wasn't getting threatened like Derek was. They wasn't getting threatened to go to jail or nothing. They are thugs, and it's sad.
And the other part that what the prosecutor was doing, he was focusing on the people in the gallery, the content creators.
The content creators, yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't a part of any, like, it was just weird. But you didn't call out the other people that were attacking you per se, and it was just weird. And interesting that that person stayed away from the courthouse during this whole thing, which is I don't know why that happened, but
They already knew what it was gonna be, child.
they knew it was going to be. And but again, people celebrating like, okay, so he didn't get a new trial. That's why you have an appeal. A lot of times this stuff is denied. They were lucky to get a recusal because if they kept the judge on, guess what? It still would have been denied. It still would have been denied. But it would have been denied. We would have had no information. That's the beauty of recusing the judge. This judge could not ignore some of the most obvious things like the television interview. That was the obvious. The judge couldn't get over that hurdle. He said, well, you got to go. I'm not going to dog you out. I'm not going to say that you really violated the canons. But at this point, you got to go to the side. And at that point, the attorney Wilson and the prosecutor were able to get stuff in that no one knew about. So while people are celebrating, don't celebrate just yet because there's still another prong to go.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And you're still on my shit list.
So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hold on. Let me play some music for you.
All right. So, So let's resume, guys. How are y'all feeling in the chat? Can you guys still hear me? Yes. Thank you, Angela. She says, share the live. Share the live. Yes. Share the live, guys. We are here. If you guys can support the channel, I appreciate that so much. You know, they say that we monetizing off death, child. Anyways, they don't, when WFAA is reporting on the death of Austin Metcalf, they don't say WFAA is monetizing off death, even though they got you can't even go on their website without clicking all type of ads. You can't go on NBC, Fox News. You can't go on none of their websites and not click on 1,000 ads. Whenever I'm trying to read an article, I'm like clicking off of this, clicking off of that, just so that I could read the article. Okay, just so that I could get to the information. They got the highest monetization off of tragedy and deaths and everything, but they want to make it seem like the independent bloggers, influencers, journalists that, oh, if we report on cases, if we report on tragedy, that we're trying to just monetize off of death. So is all of the local media. Like, if they're not trying to monetize and get top dollar, then take off all them damn ads on their page. Take off all the ads on their YouTube video. So, child, we got to keep the lights on, okay? Y'all see the lights keep going off. We got to keep the lights on. No, but these are wireless lights that he has in here, so that the battery, each time I change them out, they're not fully charged. So anyways, so do y'all want me to continue? Because I have so many pages of notes to go over between the crooked, corrupt stuff that was happening with this trial. I can continue to go, but I do need the support. Like, if y'all not gonna support the stream, then child, let me go enjoy my last little couple of hours in Texas, child. Okay, y'all like support, or we got to go. But so I stopped the part that I stopped on opening statements. You said keep going, girl. Okay, so now let's go to Bill Werski's opening statements. Again, this is my Cash App. You have to spell it exactly like this. And let me read off some of the Cash Apps, actually. Let me read off some of the Cash Apps. Thank y'all for supporting me on Cash App. Let me read through some of the Cash Apps. Oh, wow. Thank you, Miss Pooh. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, girl. Hold on. Let me look at my Cash App. Hold on. I'm sending everybody hearts. All right. So let's see. All right. So we got a Cash App from, I think this is from yesterday. This is from today. All right, so I got a Cash App from Louise. She sent in, hold on, wait, let me go all the way up from today. Some of these are from earlier. All right, so starting off, I got a Cash App from Shanice. Thank you so much for the super chat. $10 off. Louise, I mean $10 off, child. What? It's been a long day. Shout out to Shanice. She sends in $10. Thank you so much. Louise sends in a super chat. Thank you so much. She sent 25. Henry Mitchell sends in a super chat. Thank you so much. Tatum Swift sends in, a Cash App. Sorry. Thank you so much. I'm not going to read all of the dollar amounts from all of them, but Miss Pooh said, I'm sending you $100 for your show today. Thank you so much, Miss Pooh. Tammy says, for the culture, for news for the culture. Thank you, Tammy, for the Cash App. Portia sends in a Cash App. Thank you so much, Portia. Yolanda sends in a Cash App. She said, thank you for keeping us informed. Thank you so much. Tanya says, I appreciate all you do. Free Karmelo. Thank you so much, Tanya. LaRon, thank you. Sends in a super chat. I appreciate you, potent pandering. Okay, period. Thank you so much. Greg Stewart also sends in a super chat. Greg says, for your family and security for life. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Young sends in a I keep almost saying super chat, but Cash App. Young sends in a Cash App and says, for doing a great job as always. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. The light went out. So anyways, y'all, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. I keep switching. So basically what's going on with these lights is I keep switching out the batteries, but they're not getting a full charge. So each time I put one on the charger and switch it out, like the one that I replace it with is not fully charged. You get what I'm saying? So each time I'm putting like partially charged battery in there and they keep going off. So anyways, somebody said denied. I mean, you late, baby. You late. Late news. we already went over that, child. Late news. Late news. If they keep going out, I'll go get my lights out of my car because I brought my own lights also. So I'll go get my lights out of the car actually because they plug into power. I wonder if he has a cord for these lights. Hold on, let me check. Is there a cord to the outlet? Let me see if there's a cord instead of me switching it out. All right, so anyways, please like the video, share the video. Let's read this from Autumn. Thank you, Autumn, for chiming in. Autumn says, I can't speak for anyone else, but I definitely do not support their past actions. It's hateful and not okay. I also don't think it means that he deserved to die. I realized he shoved him, but all the witnesses did testify that there was no jumping, and I just don't believe 20 plus people are all lying. Why would the adults, a few African Americans themselves, lie? Also, I can't imagine getting all those teenagers to remember all of those details under oath on the stand, under pressure. Not one would trip. I can't see the whole thing. I don't know what else she said. Thank you for chiming in. If you listen to what the kids said, they all go to school together. They're all friends. Whenever something happens, it's not hard to create a narrative with your friends. The thing that they testified to and the facts that they all can come to agreement with is, number one, Karmelo did not speak to the twins first. He did not say anything to them first. Okay? They approached him first. And matter of fact, Austin and Hunter was a few bleachers down. They walked up the bleachers so that they can approach him, get in his face, etc. Now, the testimony of the kids, okay, because you're like, oh, I don't know how 20 people could lie. Well, what we can rely on is what Hunter said. The same day, it was either the same day that this happened or the next day. Hunter went on live. Not one of those kids got up there and said that Hunter, it was not clear that Hunter started it. In the interview, Hunter said, I started it and I said something to him first. Austin came in to finish it. Austin grabbed Karmelo's backpack and then he shoved him, and Karmelo, all of the kids can agree that Karmelo didn't speak to him first. So the notion that all of the kids got on the stand and said who provoked, and they said Karmelo because Bill Werski asked them that, you would have to understand how Bill Werski is in court. Bill Werski is a big, slimy bully. He tried to bully the attorneys on the stand. Even yesterday, him and Toby Shook kind of had to raise their voice, these best friends, because he was trying to bully him to say what he wanted him to say on the stand. So in order for you to understand why 20 kids would all say that Karmelo provoked, even though the actual actions of Karmelo doesn't show that he provoked anything. In order for me to provoke you, I need to be the one that's getting in your face. I need to be the one that's pushing you. How the hell did I provoke you when I'm staying seated in my whole seat? So but from y'all logic, y'all are saying, oh, because the kid said he provoked, then that means that he provoked them. And you're ignoring the actions. How do you ignore the actions of what happened and just take the fact that 20 people got bullied by Bill Werski on the stand into saying something? Now, I will say that 2 of them did say at the police station the day that it happened that they felt like Karmelo provoked it. I will say that did come out in testimony that 2 of them did say that it to the police. However, the 20 people saying and reciting that don't move me. I was in court. I saw Bill Werski in action. He's performative. He's a big bully. Okay. And he's very, very like condescending, and he's very like a particular way when he is cross-examining people. I'm listening to what happened. Y'all listening to them say buzzwords. I'm listening to them describe what happened. When they described what happened, Karmelo didn't provoke shit. And if Mike Howard was a great, competent attorney, he would have, the same points that I'm pointing out, he would have pointed that out in testimony. He didn't. That's why a lot of people think that they were in on it. They were in on the fix because it don't make sense how they didn't bring it back to self-defense. But the fact that they said 20 people said something, child, we don't this is the order. So let me show y'all. Dennis Byron just sent it in, even though Dennis Byron is still on my shit list. Still on my shit list, Dennis, but thank you. This is the order. This is the order. Hold on. This is the actual order of the denial. Let me show it to y'all. 1 second, 1 second. Let me put it on the screen. Hold on, I'm about to put it on the screen. It's just a picture of the order. One second, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. I'm about to put it on the screen. I don't know where my other logo is, even though Dennis sent this, but we try and put a logo real quick. Anyways, here, let me just do this. Oh, well. All right. So hold on. Where's my other logo? Okay, it's just the order, so I'm about to put it on the screen for y'all. Dennis, you know I had to give you a lashing real quick. But hold on. All right. Thank you. This is brought to you by Dennis Byron. Dennis Byron sent this in. This is the official order. Okay. This is the order denying the new trial. So as you can see right here, it says on August 20th through 21st, 2026, came on to be heard defendant's motion for new trial. Upon reviewing the motion, the record, the evidence and arguments, the briefs, and the relevant case law, the court has determined that the motion should be denied. It is therefore considered ordered and adjudged by the court that the motion for new trial is denied. All right. So that was Michael Chitty, the senior district judge. So that was from him, and this is the actual order that it says. Somebody said, that's it? Well, girl, yes, that's it. That's all they needed was that little piece of paper. Thank you so much, Monica, for the super chat. Somebody said, get a Venmo. I know, I need to. Sorry. Oh, wait, how do I go back to the live comments? She said, there must have been something said prior because Carmelo Anthony did say, touch me and find out. That was the prosecution basis for fighting the self-defense. I think they could lie. I just don't think no one cave or trip under pressure if lying. Although I completely understand what you're explaining, but that was more so in response as I've seen many people accuse them of lying after the trial. I do wonder what else we don't know considering what just came out. Yeah, so I think, number one, I believe that they lied, but a big part of it is when you're a lawyer, it is the lawyer's job to extract that information. If these kids are saying inconsistent things, the lawyers were not able to confront them with the bad acts of Austin to call them out on being liars because they had this gentleman's agreement. So if I have this agreement that it just goes to under the tent and these kids are acting or they're saying certain stuff, he can't confront the other kids that was a part of the jumping with, a part of the, not the jumping of anything at the track meet, but the jumping that took place at the basketball game or the other violence at the track meet. He's not able to confront them with these things and call them out on their BS because they have this bogus agreement. So it's up to the lawyers to extract this information and call them out for being liars. And the lawyers didn't do that. So, that's that on that. But let's see. I feel like at this point, we should probably do a part 3 video because I need to get some food. It's 5 o'clock. I have not eaten anything. Somebody said, keep grasping for them straws, Shaniqua. Child, I'm not grasping for straws. The person that was, never mind. I'm not going to be that evil. Because I was going to say the person that was, never mind. I'm not going to be that evil and I'm not going to stoop to your level, Jim. Because if we're going to be talking about grasping for anything, never mind. But anyways, I do want to continue, guys. I do want to continue, but it's 5 o'clock. I have not eaten anything all day. I want to eat real quick. I want to get some food real quick. I want to, then I'll come back. All right. I'll come back and finish my live, whether it be back where I'm staying at, or if I'm still able to use here, I'll continue the live, but I need to go eat, y'all. I need to go eat, make some phone calls, handle some stuff, and I'll be back. So I'll come back.